Wonderful. We are live. Hello and happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to our weekly speaker series. I am so thrilled to have our first man today with us. We have only hosted women so far, but tonight, a wonderful person here with me, Paulo, and he is going to be speaking with us, to us, about so many amazing topics. So without further ado, Paulo, hi, hello, and thank you for joining us. How are
Greetings. Thanks
you?
for having me here. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course, I am so glad that you managed to join us, and we've been having a few conversations between just the two of us, and I really like your vibe. I like what you're about. I like what you do, what you're teaching. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your story, who you are, what you do, how did you get to where you are right now?
Oh, that's a very powerful question for me, actually, because I have always been fascinated with how human beings work and how to enhance the human state. So, I began working in the field of science and technology, and I was fascinated by genetics and how, interesting, isn't it? Because I think you've come from a very similar background,
That's it,
and
yes.
how invisible things can affect the human state. And, at the time I was looking at, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to be fascinated by how quickly the body healed from injury. But then I learned that some things can injure the body and you can't even see them,
Oh, yeah.
like viruses. And we all know about viruses now, don't we? And bacteria, fungal spores. Then I was so fascinated by these things. I studied them. I took a degree in them. I took microbiology master level, and then I just was interested because initially people just didn't know what was causing these infections. They were just dropping dead. They thought it was curses from God, from the beyond, and wow, something we can't see has such a profound effect upon us. So what I did was to do my best to try and take control of any situations that affected me by, taking vitamins, taking exercise, doing all things to enhance my physical, mental, and emotional state. And I realized that there were other things even more invisible than viruses and bacteria, i.e.,
Mhm.
events that cause emotional and psychological pain.
Mhm.
So I then went on to do a lot of study on depression, frustration, anxiety, and the pains associated with those. And so my story is really around both the allopathic and the conventional scientific world. I found that both were intriguing and fascinating, and so I studied both at the same time.
I
So honestly,
absolutely
I was
love it.
just interested in the human state and how to enhance it as best I could.
Mm. I think this is why you and I connected so well because we do both come from scientific background, but I think both of us also realize that there is so much more to our environment, to our life, to our bodies than we can actually scientifically measure. There is so much more. There are things that we can control in a traditional way, medicine, sports, nutrition, this and that. But then there's things that we really don't know how to measure, but we do know they're there. And that's our mind and how our mind works and how we can actually protect ourselves on so many levels that are still not completely scientifically proven.
Monica, that's so interesting because I worked for GlaxoSmithKline for a long time,
There you
and
go.
I loved it. It was such an amazing experience because that's where I really got interested in depression and anxiety because a lot of the studies were genetic studies based on that. as well as infectious disease studies and the pharmacogenetics behind that. So I got interested in something called the placebo effect, which of course you know about very well. But for anyone watching, the placebo effect, you may not know what it is. It is that if you think strongly enough about something, it can manifest in emotions and feelings in the body. So, if you take a pill and you think with, complete certainty that that pill is going to do some good, then sometimes it can actually create the right environment for healing.
Mm.
And I was fascinated by that. And so there was when I decided to study deeper the mind, the body, the emotional connection. And I studied many mind, body, emotion connection disciplines in the holistic arts, and got qualified in them later on. But I was just interested to begin with, and just fascinated with just enhancing not just the human state, but my state as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it comes from personal experience. I think a lot of things come from this personal inside, as in, why I started being so passionate about helping others and nutrition and healthy lifestyles, because my personal experience is the opposite. I didn't have any help, and I had no one to coach me and teach me on these things. So it is then you turn it into, I want to now help others. So what was that, your personal experience that really got you onto that path?
So that's a very interesting question, because you see, Monica, I've had a lot of milestone events that have steered me more towards understanding and developing myself. And so I don't want to sound too cliche, but to create a better version of yourself, as everyone is saying these days. But those events happened when I was a kid. Growing up in an area of London which was heavily ridden with crime.
Mm-hmm.
See, so not only would I need to protect myself physically, I learned martial arts. In fact, I learned a range of different martial arts just to feel safer.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly, I didn't feel safer emotionally. See, I felt, I can do this, I can protect myself, but I was still on edge. See,
Mm-hmm.
so I decided to look deeper, and I explored the holistic arts and the longevity arts.
Okay.
So longevity arts, for anyone who is watching, are things like yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, things like that. And I looked and I searched for teachers, and I found some really good teachers, masters, gurus, senseis, sifus, and I just absorbed myself in all of those things. And I became very good. I became very good at not just the poses and the forms, but utilizing them to enhance my state of mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I also looked at, of course, the holistic arts that I mentioned. But at the time, there was no internet. There was no internet. There was no you couldn't just Google search something, and you couldn't do courses online. There was not even CDs, to be honest. There were cassette tapes, audio tapes. If anyone's watching and doesn't know what that is, but they were, they were before CDs. Let's just put it that way. And I picked up quite a few of those, and I used a lot of relaxation tapes, tranquility tapes. And, a lot of people at the time were looking for quick fixes to just fix a problem. But I was finding that, they were good. I mean, they were really good, but problems will keep coming. And I realized that you can fix yourself, but then 10 minutes later, progress can slowly unfold and become chaos again.
Mhm.
right? So I decided to take those things with a pinch of salt and at the same time realize that it's a constant piece of work that you
Absolutely.
need to keep, yeah, you need to keep moving forward. You need to
Mhm.
add these things, but you mustn't hide away from things either. Because the moment, you start to push yourself away and you want comfort, complete comfort, I think that the universe is going to teach you that
Mhm.
discomfort is the true nature of what you need to experience. That someone's comfort can be someone else's discomfort and vice versa, right?
Absolutely. There's a lot of things that are going in my mind right now when you're speaking about this. I 100% agree. I think I experienced something really similar when I first went onto a healthy living journey and tried various diets, and obviously colossally failed at every single one of them, because I went in with the mentality that I'm going to do this for a period of time, be in discomfort for a period of time, and then I will be feeling comfortable for the rest of my life. And as soon as I actually accepted the fact that I will be in slight discomfort for the greater good, for my greater health, for my greater everything, so that
Mm.
I can just go to the shop and pick whatever clothes I want and not need to worry whether it's going to fit or not. That realization then really brought freedom into my life, and
Mm.
realizing that everything in life is hard.
Mm.
Everything is hard. Being poor is hard, earning money is hard, being healthy is hard, but being ill is also very, very hard.
Oh, yeah.
So I chose my hard, and I decided that this is the hard path that I want to go, I want to take. And it's been nothing but personal growth. It's been nothing but growing into ways that I never expected I was going to grow. And I can imagine that it happened the same with you, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And for me, I learned that, when you're going through something, the best thing that you can do is to feel those sensations that are very painful and very uncomfortable.
Mhm.
The more you push something away, the more it comes back. And it's really interesting. I mean, I
Oh
did a
yeah.
um, I did a lot of mind processes, and I tried many different meditation forms. And one of them was to kind of beat your mind into shape in such a way that you're pushing your thoughts away. And well, I mean, it worked so well. I thought, wow, this is brilliant. I've done it. I've done it. And then 2 days later, I was completely the opposite. And so, a lot of these mind disciplines do work initially, the old style ones, but now you see a lot of mindfulness and Zen concentrates more on acknowledging what is there rather than trying to bulldoze it out of your brain.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
so that's why I like where the evolution of these disciplines, they call them well-being therapies now, but these disciplines have come a long way. And of course, there is a famous saying, old is gold. And so some of the therapies that are out there are ancient, but they work very well. There are people who swear by transcendental meditation. I've never tried it, but that works very, very well for some people. And of course, jhana meditation and all the different forms of yoga, the different forms of therapy that you get, the neurolinguistic programming, and so
Mm.
many different forms that work. But then I also see things that I don't always agree with totally, because I know how the mind works, and I know when you say something to it, it registers words but doesn't register sentences. So, if you structure an affirmation, for instance, in this way, I don't want to feel horrible. then your mind will take the word horrible and meditate on it and give you horrible feelings.
Mm,
Whereas if you say, I don't, I want to feel good, or I don't want to, I can't believe I'm not feeling good. That's a bit better because you're using the word good, and that in your mind can fool it. I mean, at the subconscious level, at least, you start
mhm,
to think, good, good. What does good attach to? It attaches to a nice day out at the park, or maybe junk food, who knows? But you have to do your research on the mind to understand it and then feed in the right affirmation playlist for you as an individual. That's what I strongly believe.
mm. I totally agree. I think we had a topic on affirmations a few weeks ago, and I admitted that when I first started off with this personal growth and mindfulness and just in general developing myself into a person that I am today, I thought the affirmations were just like, you know, like that sounds silly. I mean, they make me look silly. Like, who am I to speak to myself in the mirror, or not even the mirror, but just out loud saying things such as, I am powerful, I am successful, I am worthy, I attract money, I attract abundance. And when I was saying these things, I was like, oh, I feel so awkward, you know?
Yes.
But the more I did them and the more I researched, the more I realized that every successful person has their form of affirmations. Some people are saying them, some people are journaling, so they're
Mhm.
writing them. Some people are reading them. So the first thing they do when they wake up is they prepare their cup of tea or whatever they drink, whatever concoction they have,
Yeah.
and they read a book that has a lot of positive thoughts and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
like you said, on the subconscious level, that sets you up for the day, and it really kind of sets the tone in the direction that you are going to speak to yourself. It's like what our grannies, used to say, like, you wake up and you decide it's a good day and it's going to be a good day. You
Yeah.
don't, if you wake up and you're like, oh, I woke up with my left foot, that's how we say it in my country. I stood up with my left foot first. That meant like it's going to be a bad day. And it then was a bad day because you decided first thing in the morning that it's going to be a bad day. So, oh my God, I could totally geek out on that topic. I'm really passionate about this. And you and I had several conversations on this
Yeah.
topic. But for interest in time, um, our topic today is actually about getting comfortable with uncomfortable. And you have tested and tried several different methods, as you said, and you know that mind works in so many various ways. No bodies are alike, no two bodies are the same, and no two minds are the same either. So how does a person learn how to manage emotional and stress roller coasters?
That's a great question. So there are many different ways that I personally apply to therapy with people who come to see me either one-to-one or in group sessions. And I'm going to talk about, more on a personal level for, in terms of what has actually worked in real people through my experience. So, a lot of what works is testing the water first. I
Mhm.
call it testing the water because, I mean, certainly in Scotland, would you jump into a lake in the summer?
Well, maybe in the summer, maybe, I don't know. I'm not Scottish, so I would probably think,
Straight like would you jump straight in without just dipping your
oh no.
okay, so that's exactly it. See, if you think that maybe you can cut out negativity, cut out anxiety, cut out stress, just quickly, it usually comes back that fast and it becomes even more overwhelming and painful, I've noticed. So, it's like you're putting your foot into the sea. and you're just acclimatizing, but you're not shying away from it. It's that, the sea is there. You're not one of those people who sits back wishing that they could go in the sea, but doesn't take the first step. You're one of those people who goes in. You've got to be like that in relation to being able to overcome your shadow work or your demons or whatever it is. So for me, to do it safely, you've got to test the water. But then after you've tested the water, it's painful. Then you start to boldly go in slowly, but you keep moving.
Mm.
And the way you keep moving is just trusting that, now I've got used to it. It's a little uncomfortable. And you do it in such a way that you, at the same time, you're adding snippets of comfort, but you're not looking for it. You add snippets of comfort along the way, but you're not looking for comfort and escape. You know that this is a natural thing and that you're slowly acclimatizing and becoming more comfortable with discomfort. And that is very powerful because it changes your whole perspective. It's a bit like the old style fire walking, but I never ever encourage that because I've heard of people using the wrong coals and actually burning the soles of the feet. I mean, seriously burning the feet. So, this is a little bit easier to kind of visualize for people who have phobias of fire. So just think of dipping into whatever it is, whether it's, you're trying to launch a business or you're nervous around men or women, who you want to potentially speak to at a party, then it's about not going there to have a conversation and get that person's number and get on a date. It's not about that. It's just about maybe speaking to them, saying a few words. And before I got married, I was like that, and I'd be just as nervous as anyone else. But then I realized that everything is the same. That if you plunge straight into anything, it's going to be bad long term. So a job interview, take maybe your time to go to a mock interview and slowly become comfortable with time. And sometimes we don't have that luxury, but if we become more comfortable with discomfort willingly, when discomfort comes our way, it won't affect us as badly.
Mm-hmm. That is really well said. I love how you draw parallels from life and everything, because I totally agree with you. It is, with everything that we do, is exactly the same. And you actually took me back to last year when I first started my business in a very different way that I was doing it before. And it was very uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. It was scary, but it was mostly like that because I couldn't see into the future and I couldn't be reassured that things are going to work out. Of course, because no one can predict the future. And that felt really uncomfortable. And I think also right now, the situation in the world feels really uncomfortable because we don't know what the future is going to bring. We don't know whether there's going to be any additional problems, what's going to happen after we start slowly going back to normal. We can't predict these things, and that's where a lot of fear and discomfort comes from. But just like you said, just by putting one foot in front of the other, tipping my toes in, and really taking small steps, but we kept going forward, I managed to overcome so many fears. And I believe that every single person can. I am nothing special. Neither is anyone else on this planet. We all start the same way. We all
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing different about me. Even in Monica and I are in the field of personal growth development, but we have things going on. Everyone has things going
Yeah.
on. But it's that maybe we have something that can be of use to anyone watching. And so, my perspective is that slowly, as you move through, those shackles start to break as you're walking, just like the movie Forrest Gump, where he's
Yeah.
running, and then, he doesn't aim to break those restrictions. No, but then they just fall off. They can't attach to him anymore. And
Mm.
then he's able to run free. And I've had those moments where I've just been in darkness, just moving forward. And sometimes, I've given up. But then the times when I move forward, I've learned, you know, wow, where's the light? This person was my friend. This person was my teacher. This person is, no one's got faith in me, but I'm still going. And then suddenly, the rivers of positivity open up, and the shackles can no longer hold me back. And it's just amazing, defining moment. You just have to have one, and then you realize that there's an old Zen saying that master one thing and you can master anything.
Ah, I like that one. That's nice. Uh,
I love it.
there are so many topics that you and I could just elaborate on and discuss in detail. So why don't we focus maybe on one, and then anyone who wants to speak to you further, you're gonna drop your links and they can contact you however they would like. But this group here is all about being a health warrior. So we are striving to the cliche to becoming better versions of ourselves, to becoming slightly better every single day. And we're striving towards not comparing each other to anyone but ourselves from the yesterday. So we're working on so many various levels of health. My expertise is nutrition, your expertise is mindfulness. So how would you recommend a person to follow the path of becoming healthier and happier version of themselves by getting comfortable with being uncomfortable?
So you see, I do a lot of meditative work with people, and I do breathing meditations, I do the mindfulness, and I do the neurolinguistics and the mind work using a lot of different mind or mental modalities, as you say, Monica. And what I do is I teach them that, there's no one quick fix, but what you have to do is try many different processes. So, breathing meditation might be a nice one, or contemplation, just looking at a scene from nature and absorbing and thinking about the colors, what colors mean calming effects within their body, or what sounds create effects that put them on edge, or even looking at the television, what sort of information is beamed inside the mind and creates feelings of sadness. So you have to analyze and, have a day, perhaps if you're having a string of bad days, have a day where you are looking deeply and, you could say mindfully at every event and how that starts to create different forms of emotional content in mental loops of thought in the mind. How do those things happen? I had a client who came to me with, he wanted to stop the thoughts in his mind that were driving him crazy, and he saw himself as the enemy of his mind. But actually, the mind, if you think deeply about it, is your best friend, because your mind will never leave you. Your mind will never stop talking to you. Your mind will talk to you even if you're ticked off with it. It will still talk to you. It won't give you the cold shoulder. It's there. And if you start to say, I hate my mind, your mind is the thing that has helped you survive. When you were daydreaming somewhere else, your subconscious mind stopped you from getting run over by the car. Your subconscious mind has saved your life more times than any other, and yet you want to fight it and grind it into dust. So instead of doing that and wishing those things in your mind, the best thing to do is to become mindless, in not in the literal sense. You've got to be mindful of the fact that you need to say nice things to your mind. And that's what I tell a lot of people who come in for the deeper stuff and the deeper levels of visualization and neurolinguistics. Start saying, I love my mind. I want to work with you. I want to help you. I want to be mindful or completely aware of the thoughts that are coming from my mind, from its heart, from what it wants from me. What do you want from me? What can I give you? How can I celebrate you? Now, that's a different way of speaking altogether. And I've taught this to a few people as a way to experiment. And for most of them, they found that just saying it once creates an instant level of peace within them.
Yes.
Because they've been at war, them and us, it and me. It's you. Why are you at war with yourself? So start saying nice things to that part. What if I want to chop off that person's leg? Will they let me know? But it's okay if I teach them a modality to crush away their thoughts. But their thoughts are also part of them. So that is created by the mind. So you have to start saying nice things to the mind, because the mind wants to say, give you information. And of course, it's a way of looking at things. It's a way of visualizing things, that you holistically are compilation of cells, atoms, memories, etc., in scientific sense. But if you think about it this way, because in any case, it's you against your mind, then if you think of it as, what can I give to my mind, and how can we develop an altruistic relationship rather than one where I dominate it?
That is beautifully said. Thank you so much for sharing. And honestly, every time that I speak to you, I learn something new, and I can totally see how people benefit from having conversations with you. And as far as I know, you also offer courses, don't you? I think you gave me an access to one of your courses when I was in the period of my development where I was very stressed and on the peak of that insecurity, and everything was very uncomfortable. And you gave me access to one of your courses, and it's been just an amazing, amazing experience. So where can people find you? How can listeners, viewers get connected to you so they can get this experience firsthand?
Oh wow, that's a great question. I mean, I have a website. It's www.paul.J for John Tavares. That's TAVARES.co.uk. So www.paulJ for John Tavares.co.uk. And if you search for me on Google, you type in Paul Tavares meditation. I've put out, just as a way of giving back during the pandemic, I've put out a lot of free meditations as well. So, if anyone wants to use them, so a couple of them have gone viral actually, which is great to see. I do deeper work. If you contact me via Facebook, so Paulo Tavares. I go on. I mean, my birth name is Paul, but I put Paulo because it seemed to hook people's interest.
I did wonder. I kept saying Paulo.
Yeah, Paulo's good. Paulo's good. I mean, I will change it back to Paul, but someone someone called me Paulo, then I said Paulo, and it seemed to raise eyebrows. And so okay, I'll go with that for a bit.
It's exotic. We love it.
Um, so there's that, and also if you want, if you're the sort of person who is introverted and you don't want to have a live consultation with me, I do them online. But if you want to, there's a book that I published. It's called Power Meditation, and it's on Amazon. And I know someone from Amazon who bought it, so it's there. It's helped a lot of people, and I didn't plan to write it. It was my clients who told me, write a book on this, on meditation. Write a book on the subconscious mind. I've not got around to doing that. So, check it out. I've worked in the allopathic world. I've done a publication in the Lancet. But I mean, this was something that is a personal publication. So do pick that up if you want. And if you want my courses and live session with me, it's on my website.
That is absolutely fantastic. I will make sure that you send me all the links. I'll pop them into all the comment sections. So we're streaming this on YouTube. We are live in our exclusive group, Fit Factory Health Warriors. So you can get to those links in any of these channels. And I would like to thank you again, Paul, for joining us tonight. This has been such an insightful conversation. As I said, every time I speak to you, I learn something new. People, if you want to get in touch, he is genuinely such a nice guy. So just get in touch. I think just listening to your voice calms me down.
Thank you. Now, it's a pleasure to talk with as well. And I love your professionalism and your very efficient and wonderful person to talk to, and bat ideas to and fro. And I've learned a lot from you too, and I value you as well. So thank you. You're a lovely person. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, we are going to close for today, but any questions, please do pop them in the comment section. I will make sure that Paulo does get them, and we will pop his links all over social media. Make sure you do get to his website. You download his free meditation and free guides to really help yourself in these challenging times and get through it the best possible ways you can. Lots of love. Thank you very much. Goodbye, Paulo. Thank you. And I'll see you next Monday with our next guest speaker. Mwah. Bye-bye.